this tough and uncertain period, I hope that there will be no any increase in transport fare.
With leaner times ahead and recovery not yet in sight, public transport fares, always a hot issue, dominated discussion. And while Transport Minister Raymond Lim is making no promises, he says he understands ground concerns and points out that the Public Transport Council will look carefully at economic conditions before considering any increase. But if things become really bad, will the government consider subsidizing public transport fares? Mr. Lim points out even with subsidies, it will still be the public which ends up paying.
There are only two persons who pay, when it comes to public transport fares. One, I use, I pay. Or two, I use, you help me subsidize my ride. What happens when you subsidize my ride? That means the taxpayers are now paying.
Going to the other end of the spectrum, if rides were to be made completely free, that would impose a heavy tax burden, as it takes 1.2 billion Sing dollars just to run the bus and train systems annually.
The money still must come somewhere, right? It is about 1.5% increase, percentage point increase of your GST. So now 7, you want it to be free, you want the GST goes up to 8.5 to run a completely free bus and train system.
But with oil prices, which operators traditionally cite as one of their high cost factors, dropping significantly in recent months, why don't bus fares then come down in tandem?
Because the public transport fare is not directly linked to the oil prices, not linked. We link it to national factors, like the inflation level in Singapore and the wage level in the whole of Singapore.
Moving to a cheaper form of transport.
Yeah, I'd like to know from you whether we're having in the near future a pro-bicycle government policy where you can provide shady bicycle track all over the island.
For now, Mr. Lim says using two-wheelers as a form of transport is good for just intra-town travel, and it cannot be applied uniformly across the island, but has to be adapted for different communities. Apart from Tampines, authorities are also looking at Yishun and Sembawang for pilot cycling projects. McPherson is a constituency which has a high number of compact high-rise HDB flats and a population that has a higher proportion of the elderly above the age of 50 who are more likely to be from the lower household income groups. Not surprisingly then, it wasn't just public transport fares but also other cost of living issues that dominated the dialogue session. That included whether costs of goods and services are expected to come down in this recession and foreigners working in Singapore.